The Aluminaire House was unique for its time. It was marketed as America's first house entirely clad in metal and was designed as a prototype for prefabricated housing. The two architects responsible were A.Lawrence Kocher and the Swiss-born Albert Frey, whose architectural legacy in lightweight minimalist structures defined much of Palm Springs' modernist developments. Their philosophy for the design of the house was simple: to exhibit a new American home made from cheap and accessible materials which can be mass-produced and sold to middle-class families as a response to the Great Depression, but still keeping quality interior spaces in mind. If mass-produced, construction was estimated to cost $3,200 or $66,000 after inflation. The prototype was constructed in 10 days and exhibited at the Architectural and Allied Arts Exhibition in New York, as well as being chosen as one of 6 projects for the 1932 Museum of Modern Art show, titled The International Style, Architecture since 1922. As its name suggests, the house is clad in lightweight aluminium intended to shimmer in the desert sun. It is 3 stories high, and the form and rationale resembles a clear influence of Le Corbusier's 5 points of architecture. This is likely because Frey worked in Corbusier's studio. The structure featured ribbon windows, garden roof terrace, and 6 spindly pilotis which supported the entire frame. Interior space was maximized and made to feel grand and wealthy despite its small size. Living dining space stretched from wall to wall with double-heighted ceiling. Sliding partitions and translucent walls would allow residents to shape spaces into a variety of uses. The materials were chosen for their high strength relative to low maintenance. The exterior walls were non-load bearing at only 3 inches thick, consisting of a steel frame, wood nailers, and insulation board. They were sheathed in aluminum panels, fastened with screws and washers. The panels' vertical corrugations added rigidity, and the polished surface deflected the sun's rays. Fastened to the columns was a framework of channel girders and steel beams supporting steel floor decking and steel stairs. Steel-framed windows were used throughout the house, as were steel-faced chrome-trimmed doors, including the overhead doors of the drive-through garage. The house also featured built-in metal, glass and rubber fixtures designed by Kocher and Frey to save space and minimize maintenance. Beds were suspended from metal cables. A combination china cupboard and retractable dining table had legs on wheels to allow easy extension. A suite of air-filled rubber chairs could be deflated for easy storage. Although never fabricated, these designs anticipated the inflatable furniture of the 1960s. Although it received much praise and international recognition, the house has never actually been lived in. Instead, it spent most of its life in a container, being deconstructed and relocated several times and never quite finding its right place. In 2018, however, it found its home back in Palm Springs, where it was donated to the Palm Springs Art Museum, and finally the grand opening as well as public access earlier this year, almost a century since its creation. The case study can be easily compared to Buckminster Fuller's Dymaxion House, built around the same time. Many of Frey's domestic works after this design continue his interest in light and low-cost materials and similar prefab forms, but typically more bespoke and integrated into their physical environments. The house has countlessly been praised for the practical methods it aimed to achieve. It can be constructed rapidly, its materials are cheap and available on shelf, its parts are standardized and can be mass-made and replicated over the country. The process is therefore affordable to lower-income families, and is in fact a pioneering example of sustainable architecture where its parts can be recycled over again.